But first, we begin with President Trump. He is hosting Indiana lawmakers at the White House today as the nationwide congressional redistricting battle intensifies. The spotlight is on Indiana after a Utah judge ordered the state to redraw its congressional map before the 2026 midterm elections. The decision could make one of the state's seats more competitive for Democrats. The president is now pressuring Indiana lawmakers to counter that measure. And President Trump held his 7th known cabinet meeting since taking office today. During the meeting, he discussed his efforts to crack down on crime in the Capitol by seeking the death penalty for any murders committed in Washington.
Anybody murders something in the Capitol, capital punishment, capital punishment. If somebody kills somebody in the Capitol, Washington, D.C., we're going to be seeking the death penalty. And that's a very strong preventative.
Okay, let's bring in CBS News White House reporter Aaron Navarro. Aaron, good to have you on as always. So obviously a lot happening during today's cabinet meeting. What were the key takeaways on your end, and what do you make of the president's remarks that the administration will seek the death penalty for any murders in Washington?
Tom, good to be with you. This cabinet meeting is still ongoing, and the question and answer portion that's expected to happen between the president, cabinet officials, and reporters has not yet begun. So I'm looking to see if there's any news from that. But it is definitely that death penalty news that President Trump talked about there, in part because the District of Columbia formally repealed the death penalty law in the 1980s. And while there was an attempt by Congress for a referendum on the ballot in the 1992 for D.C. residents to institute it, D.C. residents rejected that. So as of now, there is no death penalty in Washington, D.C., with the one caveat being that federal prosecutors can still push for capital punishment for federal crimes, such as murder, treason, or acts of terrorism. But this is certainly an escalation of President Trump's rhetoric, especially given his attorney general's control over the Metropolitan Police Department in D.C. But at least on paper, any changes to the law in the District of Columbia would have to happen through Congress, who still has oversight over the city's laws.
Yeah, it's a really important caveat to make there with such strong words coming from the president. I want to switch gears here now. President announced he is removing Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. Cook's attorney says they will be filing a lawsuit challenging the move, and now there are no formal charges against Lisa Cook. So how do we expect this to play out?
Yeah, waiting to see if there are any formal charges. What kind of kickstarted all of this were allegations that Cook listed 2 addresses as her primary residence in banking forms. This was brought to the attention by Housing Finance Agency Director Bill Pulte, who's known as a Trump ally. And in her responses, I read it as Cook essentially saying that she is not leaving and that they are legally challenging the president's action here should that materialize in an official way. Cook was appointed to the Federal Reserve Board of Governors in 2022, and her term is set to expire in 2038. She did say in a statement that she is gathering, quote, accurate information to answer any legitimate questions and provide the facts. So this move is certainly an early test of the president's power when it comes to this independent agency. Under federal law, federal board members can be removed and fired, quote, for cause, though courts have said little to clarify what for cause could mean.
Aaron, looking ahead to the president's agenda, what is the president hoping to achieve while meeting with these lawmakers from Indiana today?
At least one new Republican congressional seat. This has been the push of the White House when it comes to redistricting, most notably with Texas in the new map that they are looking to push. Missouri and Florida are other states under Republican control that the White House is at least signaling that they want them to redraw their lines and add more seats in addition to Ohio, which you can see in the map. Indiana may be the toughest one so far. That's where you've seen the most internal dissent among state Republican lawmakers, which could be the reason why, or be a big topic why redistricting will be spoken to them, or is what they're going to talk about when they meet with White House officials. When I asked the White House last week about this meeting, they said that this meeting was already scheduled, was already on the books, was sort of a general meeting, but certainly the timing, the political backdrop of this meeting is really notable given the national redistricting fight.
Yeah, certainly some seismic implications for all the redistricting back and forth that we're seeing. Aaron Navarro, we appreciate your time. Thank you, my friend.
Take care.